Today's program will feature plans for the new Youth Arts Center. Joining us for the presentation are fellow Rotarian Alan Ebert, who is the Executive Director for the Children's Theater of Madison, and Roseann Sheridan, the theater's Artistic Director. In addition, we have Lynn Hembel, the Madison Youth Choirs Managing Director, and Michael Ross, the choir's Artistic and Executive Director. We look forward to their presentation, and we have made a contribution to the Rotary International Polio Plus Fund as a way of saying thanks for speaking to us today. Alan will kick off our presentation, and as I welcome him to the podium, I want to remind you that if time permits for questions, which they tell me they should, I will be out in the audience with the microphone, so please wait as the program is being recorded. Welcome, Alan, and your team.
Have to get set here. It's intimidating, you know, eating in front of you all and then having to speak in front of you all. I admire you all from afar, being a fellow Rotarian. There are so many individuals in this room who do amazing work on a day-to-day basis, and it's an honor to be part of a club like this. It's also an honor to be able to share this project with you. The impact that it will have for generations to come on this community is exciting. It's an honor to be here on behalf of my colleagues with Mike Ross, Lynn Hembel, and Roseann Sheridan. I joined Rotary because I believe in service above self. As a U.S. Army veteran, I've always given back. And the arts had had such an influential part of my life and has changed my life. I see this project as a way I can give back. And I hope you see that as well. Today, we are thrilled to share with you this vision for the new Madison Youth Arts Center, a place that will drastically change the performing arts landscape in Madison for generations to come for youth and their families. Here now, if it works, are a few of the faces, just some of the faces, of youth who are currently enrolled in our programs at both Madison Youth Choirs and Children's Theater of Madison. I'm going to orient you. We are on East Washington Avenue heading toward Ingersoll. To the left, you'll see what is going to be Lyric 2. It's similar to Lyric 1, 3 floors of retail, commercial, and then 8 floors of residential. You are now looking at the parking garage outside. There's a community art project that we're going to be doing with murals. There are over 300 parking spaces in that parking garage. It's covered, so there's a safe entrance there for youth and their families to enter our facility. And now we're rounding the corner, and there is the new Madison Youth Arts Center, right across the street from Lapham Elementary School. We couldn't be more excited about the location. We chose this location because it puts us in the heart of the city, in the center of Dane County, across from Lapham Elementary School, and in the Tenney-Lapham neighborhood. This idea of a new youth arts center has been percolating for many years. And now to share why this project is so important and why it will have such a huge community impact, I welcome Roseann Sheridan.
Bring that down. Thank you, Alan, and thank you, everyone, for having us today. In 2013, the Madison Cultural Plan was approved, and its preeminent finding was the need for infrastructure. We at Children's Theater of Madison and Madison Youth Choirs, along with our colleagues throughout the youth arts community, know this need very well. We have amazing facilities in Madison for performance and presentations. But what we probably don't think about is how do those performances and presentations actually get put together? And it's that space where rehearsals and classes and the learning and the true transformation really happens that is direly not present. And so we have come together to try to create a space where young people and their families can create the art and create the performances that are getting presented. The Madison Youth Choirs rehearses at the aging, soon-to-be demolished Westgate Mall. Over the course of the year, over 500 students participate in their choir rehearsals, and those ensembles have grown so large that 60 students crowd into spaces more appropriate for 25. You're looking at one of them now. They have poor acoustics, dismal temperature control, and inadequate lighting. The Children's Theater of Madison holds classes year-round in a second-floor, inaccessible, cramped room on State Street. And in the summer, we serve over 400 students through our expansive summer programs. We're spread all over downtown, and examples such as this basement room. And we're never sure from one summer to the next where we'll be able to find space. So imagine the challenges this presents to planning and budgeting. Every year, in fact, we turn kids away due to limitations on space. We know that the single biggest factor affecting the success and growth of youth arts groups in our community is space. Space that's conducive to our work, especially rehearsals and classes, and is accessible, affordable, and appropriate. We hear this over and over from groups of all sizes and types. So what if we could address these roadblocks and provide thousands more young people the transformative benefits of the arts? What if we could change the landscape of youth performing arts education in Madison? The right place in the right location has the power to do just that. This project will bring kids together from all over the city and beyond to one central place where they can participate in every aspect of the arts. It's going to provide intentional interaction across disciplines, music, dance, theater, sparking interest and participation and connection. It's going to provide stability by offering a permanent home to both CTM and NYC and a consistent space for multiple organizations who serve young people through the arts to do their work and grow their programs. It will be a home for young people to explore, connect, and grow. It's truly a vision whose time has come and whose total impact is greater than the sum of its parts. Thanks to all the participants and the collaboration and the partnerships that it will offer.
Thanks, Roseann. Thanks, Roseann. In addition to calling out the need for infrastructure, the 2013 Madison Cultural Plan also articulated the importance of intentional partnerships. Madison Youth Choirs and Children's Theater of Madison embrace this idea and have come together in partnership to lead this project, a project whose impact will reach far beyond just our two organizations. Imagine the possibilities when a wide array of youth arts program providers have affordable, appropriate space to do their work. In early November, just a few months ago, we hosted a meeting of potential user groups for the building. More than 70 people attended, representing almost 20 separate youth arts program providers. This graphic vividly displays our vision for a collaborative, central place for all of us in the youth arts community to do our work. Having a permanent home will provide all of us much needed financial and programming stability, and proximity to our peer organizations, connecting resources, people, and programs will create a wonderful supportive web for taking risks and advancing our missions. Meeting these needs will create powerful outcomes with tangible benefits for our community and for our young people. Americans for the Arts actually studies every facet of impact related to the arts and has compiled the most impressive collection of data on this subject. For example, after-school arts programs save cities money. For every dollar spent on after-school programs, $9 is saved by reducing welfare and crime costs, improving academic performance, and increasing the earning potential of our kids. From 2000 to 2010, more than 75% of diverse, low-income, and highly disadvantaged neighborhoods saw reductions in income disparity that directly correlated to the formation of new arts organizations within that community. It's an amazing statistic. Students who take 4 years of arts and music classes average almost 100 points higher on their SAT scores than students with only a half year or less. Low-income students who participate in the arts, both in school and after school, have a dropout rate of just 4%, 5 times lower than their peers. And this is our favorite statistic. Cultural participation leads to wider community participation. Those involved in cultural activities are 50% more likely to also be involved in other non-arts community activities and are more than twice as likely to volunteer. Future Rotarians, we are sure. That's worth clapping. So what will this kind of impact look like in Madison? Together, thank you, sorry. Together, we look forward to welcoming over 25,000 young people to the Madison Youth Arts Center on an annual basis, a number that represents a significant increase in programming across the board for all the youth arts program providers involved in the first 5 years. To meet this goal, we are focused on reflecting the diversity of our community and increasing the involvement, engagement, and participation of underrepresented youth in all aspects of programming. We know there's much to learn about access and inclusion from our community. To that end, we plan to work with a consultant to develop a long-term plan while listening to many voices and incorporating equity, diversity, and inclusion priorities into every decision we make. And now, we'd love to give you a peek inside the Madison Youth Arts Center.
So it's a 4-story building, around 65,000 square feet, and I'm going to try my best to walk you through these screens without a laser pointer and all of that fun stuff and 2 screens. So I'll just highlight a couple things, and sorry, these are a little small, but on the first floor, you'll see on the right-hand side, upper right-hand corner, is a lobby area. All 4 floors have this lobby gathering space of intersection. Again, we envision youth and families from all different backgrounds and cultures intersecting and building community together. You'll see in the dark green section, those are actual classroom rehearsal rooms on the first floor. The bottom right one is actually going to be specifically designed for youth with sensory disorders. So we're working with community partners to make sure that we have the right resources and supports for that room. And also on the left side, you'll see our production shop. So a lot of people don't realize that Children's Theater of Madison right now runs what's called the Madison Area Production Center. We rent costumes out around the region, not just Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, to schools, high schools, and we also, a lot of theaters in the area build their sets in our production shop. So again, that will move downtown to a centrally located. And we also see this space as a great opportunity. Programming that we've just started is for youth to be able to learn the trade and crafts of set building and painting and costuming. They might not want to take a class, but they're really interested in the tech and building side. So think of it as a maker space, if you would. This is the lobby, a rendering of the lobby. What you're looking at is the staircase that goes between all 4 floors on the corner of Ingersoll and Mifflin, and then we have 2 elevators there. Our second floor is where a lot more studios are. We have 2 studios that will be specifically designed with dance in mind. So they'll have marling floors and mirrors and dance railings. And so we've listened to a lot of our youth arts disciplines and made sure that we incorporated their needs. And the third floor, on the upper right-hand side, we have our community room. That's our largest lobby. So again, place for youth to get food. There'll be vending machines, families can do work if they're waiting for their child. Youth can, if they're in a break, can go there and meet up with other youth. And then you'll see the green section is the creative hub, I call it. That's where anyone who wants to come into the building and needs a space, who's a user of the building, can come into that office space. It's an open concept. They can hotel, do work, print, do what they need to do. So it's a collaboration space for leaders within the arts. So think of it as a 100 state for arts, if you would. And then in the left side is our costume shop and storage area. So again, we have a lot of high schools who don't have a performance space and need a space to do their work, and they're really excited about utilizing this facility to do that. This is a view, a rendering of that community space. So you kind of see like a bar island to the right and numerous places to sit. And all of these lobbies, what's great as well is there's a lot of space for visual art. So we plan on working with a lot of youth to display their great works of art throughout the building. Then our fourth floor, starting on the left-hand side, there is a performance space, a 300-seat theater. The stage size is mimics the Capitol. And it's a little flatter because we want to be able to do choirs, musical performances, theatrical performances, and have it be multi-use. To the right, in the other purple, is what we call a black box, and that can seat up to 105 people flexibly. And then on the outside, we call it our education wing. There are 4 classrooms that can be secured, so you could have a performance going on and classes going on at the same time. This is a rendering of what a studio may look like. So you'll notice we have natural light coming in, which is really needed, and also acoustical treatments throughout the room. This is a shot from the 4th floor when you come off the stairs and you're looking down the lobby area for the 4th floor area. To the left is the black box theater. Straight ahead is the main theater. And you'll notice that we kind of mimic the rotunda, if you've been in Overture Center, the rotunda stage area. So this could be a pre-function space. So youth and families could sit on those benches on the left and someone could present on the right or vice versa. And then this is a rendering of inside the theater itself. And now I'm going to hand it over to my...
Before we do that, will you say something about UA and CG?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
That's why
He wants to say, yeah, thank you. So this project isn't possible without Stonehouse Development, who we are partnering with. I went to Helen and Rich and so thankful to them and said, hey, we need this space. They said, yes, we want to help you. And so they were willing to work with us, which was great. Also, part of our great team is C.G. Schmidt, who's here today, and they're going to be building this amazing facility. And also, our architects, which you saw on the slide before, is Epstein Ewan, and we're forever grateful for the team that we have. It's an amazing team.
Thanks. So Madison Youth Choirs and Children's Theater of Madison will anchor this new space, but it will be used by myriad program providers that serve a diverse group of students. Just 2 such potential program providers are Music Home Brio and Black Star Drum Academy. Both serve a diverse group of students, mostly from underserved and underrepresented communities. Both have significant need for affordable space. Having this reliable, affordable space to teach allows them to plan and expand their offerings and thereby dramatically increase the number and diversity of students we serve at this new facility. What have we done to bring this dream to life so far? I'm excited to share our incredible progress with you. So as we heard, in 2013, the Madison Cultural Plan was developed, and as far back as 2015, many youth arts organizations, including many represented in this room, came together to try to discuss a possible solution for this problem. And then just this past July, a site was identified in East Mifflin thanks to our wonderful partners in Stonehouse Development. In October 2018, just a few months ago, Madison Youth Arts Center incorporated as a new nonprofit. This new third entity will own and operate the building and advance our mission. Madison Youth Choirs and Children's Theater of Madison will continue to be separate organizations, and Children's Theater of Madison will continue to be a resident of Overture. In November 2018, the project was unveiled to community arts groups. And then, the moment that literally changed everything. This past December in 2018, our wonderful, amazing friend, Pleasant Rowland, announced a $20 million pledge to this project. We are in awe and filled with gratitude to Pleasant for her incredible gift. In her own words, "I can't think of a gift that I could give that would impact more than this in the arts and for young people. I think there will be a whole generation and generations to come that will feed the arts in our community." Since that time, we have raised over $8 million in additional pledges towards this $35 million project. There is a lot of momentum building, and there is still more to be done. That $35 million will build this amazing home for young people, ensure access through our board-designated Enduring Access Fund, providing affordable space that will transform the capacity of dozens of community groups to serve youth of all financial backgrounds, and maintain this new community treasure through the Madison Youth Arts Center Endowment, a Madison Community Foundation fund.
Now I had to find my place because I left my notes up here, as a bad presenter did. Yeah, that's okay. Now I have to dig through everyone's notes. So thank you so very much for this opportunity. We are humbled by the opportunity to be able to share this with you, and we hope that you've caught a vision and share our excitement for the Madison Youth Arts Center. We plan to break ground in May of this year, and with completion in fall of 2020. Again, we can't thank you enough. And at this time, if you have any more, need any more information, you can follow the progress at that website. So we have a website that's up that will continue to change. And today when you leave, we have a brochure that's on the back table as you exit if you want to take one with you. But at this time, we do have time, I believe, for questions.
Thank you, Alan. It's very exciting. How are you going to handle transportation from for young people from other parts of the city to the facility?
That's a great question. Thank you, Linda. One of the great things about this location, and not only we're looking at that, we're really excited that it is on a major bus corridor. And depending on how bus rapid transit develops, we're excited about that. And whatever happens with automaton vehicles, if that ever happens. This is why we want to listen to the community. So we are planning listening sessions out in the community to understand what that transportation barrier is before we can solve it. We want to understand how we can do that. Now I can tell you that Milwaukee has a Milwaukee Youth Arts Center, and they worked with actually like Uber, Lyft, and taxi companies to help provide those who had the barrier of access through transportation to work with certain like pickup points or areas. And it has been made a drastic difference for them. So we're benchmarking that a little bit, but we also want to listen to the community as well.
Well, you kind of answered my question, which was, are you aware of and have you learned from similar facilities in other cities?
Yeah, but I think talk about this.
Yeah, so this is what's really exciting. So Milwaukee's Youth Arts Center started 13 years ago. It was actually First Stage Children's Theater and the Milwaukee Youth Symphony Orchestra were both looking for space at the same time. And they said, well, as opposed to doing it separately, let's do it together. And they found a warehouse, a 100,000 square foot warehouse. At that time, First Stage Children's Theater was about the same size operating budget as CTM is today, about $1.8 million. And Milwaukee Youth Symphony Orchestra was around a $600,000 operating budget, about the same size as Madison Youth Choirs. Fast forward to today, they have outgrown the space. They developed 60,000 square feet of that space. First Stage operating budget is now $5 million, and they give out, 10 years ago, they were giving out around $17,000 in financial assistance. They're giving out $350,000 of financial assistance today. So it's been tremendous growth for both organizations. The Milwaukee Youth Symphony Orchestra went from 600 to 2.6 million. So it gives us opportunity to expand programming and reach. And so that's where that growth came from. But we are meeting with Milwaukee a lot, because they're actually doing another capital campaign to add another 80,000 square feet of space to their Youth Arts Center.
How do you keep it going over the years? You referred to an endowment at the Madison Community Foundation. Is that funded, or where do you stand with long-term sustainability?
Sure. So this campaign that we're doing of 35 million, the answer is it has to be all three things at one time. We need to raise the money for the building, and we have to have that long-term endowment. Part of that endowment that'll be the community foundation will just be bricks and mortar, fix the building type of thing. It's this third fund, this access fund, that really is the key to this building. This idea that for groups, for both our organizations and other organizations to literally be able to be in this building, there is this fund to help support that, and that fund lives in perpetuity. It's not something we're taking cash out of. It's this idea of sort of long-term savings towards making sure the building is funded operationally, and then also in terms of the endowment, bricks and mortar and fixing types of things. Did that, do you have more? Yeah. Sorry, okay.
We also are working with a consultant to help with that model and that ramping plan, because we understand that we have to staff the facility, and we're going from 0 to 100 very quickly. So we're working with a consultant and building that ramping model for sustainability for that future success. That's very important to us, is making sure that we can absolutely support this. So what is that right mix of fully subsidized versus partially subsidized versus full paying users of the facility itself? Oh, yes.
Congratulations.
Hey, Mark.
Congratulations. So happy for all of you. So happy for all of you.
He has a big voice. Go for it, Mark.
So I'm just curious, who's doing your mural?
Yes, thank you, Mark. We are working with Dane Arts Mural Arts, which, Mark, thank you so very much. And we're really excited because how they do the murals, I don't know if people are aware, but you can roll them up and take them to other communities. So literally, as many youth and community members can touch and paint and be part of building those murals. It's pretty remarkable.
Thank you for asking.
Alan, we have one last question here.
I appreciate, first of all, congratulations. It's phenomenal what you're doing. I appreciate you mentioned 2 minority or culturally specific groups you're working with. How will you make sure that you bring in more minority kids or kids of color, and also reflective of your board? And I'm glad Mark is working with you, because Mark is a guru in my opinion. And what are you doing to do that, to sustain it and get donors within the Latino, African American, Southeast Asian, Native American community so that they have ownership to this excellent activity that you're doing?
Yeah, I think the first thing I can say is we don't know the answer, and we're going to try to be really good listeners. We're approaching this project with this idea. I've always say to people, this is the one time we get to do this thing, and we don't want to do it wrong. And we really have been handed this opportunity that's amazing. So one of the things we are going to do is start making a long-term plan. We are working with a consultant, and one of the part of that work is literally to be out in the community and to be listening to people and to be asking the questions, so that we don't assume that we have the answers to your question, but we are really going to communities and getting a sense of what would that look like and what would we need to do, even at all levels of what we're doing, programming, the board itself, all of those things. So it's an answer, but not an answer. And I think for us, that feels like the right way to go, because we want to make sure we are open and listening and don't come to this community and say, we know the answer to that question. We want to be learning the answer together. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you to Alan, Roseann, Lynn, and Michael for your presentation today. A reminder that we are not at the Park Hotel next week. Instead, we'll be meeting at the Sylvie. We are adjourned.